Music from the wrong side of the tracks. This is a show that drags you through the gritty alleys of sleaze rock, gutter glam, and all forms of dirty rock and roll. We're here to crank up the volume and dive deep into the dirtiest, sleaziest, most glamorous rock and roll out there. Whether it's the classics or the underground hits, we've got you covered. And now, here are your hosts, Andy and Gary.
Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. I'm Gary, and with me is my co-host, Andy.
Hey, everybody.
Today, we're going to be diving into the glittery, chaotic, and electric world of the band Celebrity Skin. This is not to be confused with the album by the band Hole, Courtney Love's deal. Rather, this is about the Los Angeles-based glam punk band that brought attitude, killer tunes, and tons of glitter to the late 80s underground scene. Celebrity Skin's story is one of chaos, creativity, and cult stardom. They were part of the vibrant LA punk scene, but their flamboyant style set them apart. They were deeply influenced by the glam rock energy of Bowie and T-Rex, and they added a punk rock edge and a big dose of humor to create something uniquely theirs, truly unique. In today's episode, we're going to explore Celebrity Skin's wild journey from their infamous live shows and their sharp satire to the challenges they faced navigating an ever-changing music scene. So buckle up, because this is going to be one glitter-filled ride. Andy, what do we know about Celebrity Skin? What can you tell us?
Celebrity Skin was a band that blended glam rock, punk rock, and outrageous humor into a style all their own. Their journey's full of wild shows, unforgettable looks, and a pretty unique take on the LA music scene in the late 80s and early 90s. But what's cool about this band is how they managed to stand out in a super saturated music scene.
They surely did, didn't they?
They did. The LA punk and alternative world at that time was really crowded in the late 80s, early 90s. You had bands coming out like Jane's Addiction, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they were getting pretty famous. But Celebrity Skin managed to carve their own niche with glam punk that was as much about the spectacle as it was about the music.
Yeah, it was a show, a definite show.
So first things first, who were these guys? Celebrity Skin was formed in Los Angeles in 1987 and became known for their over-the-top theatrical live shows and their satirical approach to their music. Think punk rock attitude meets glam excess with a touch of tongue-in-cheek humor that really made this band impossible to pin down.
You know, they really were tough to pigeonhole. You really couldn't put them in any genre. They were all on their own.
Right. There were no one clear style of music. But even their name, Celebrity Skin, it's a jab at Hollywood's obsession with fame and image. And this band, honestly, was like an anti-Hollywood band. Celebrity Skin has its roots in the legendary Los Angeles hardcore band, The Germs.
Wasn't that considered one of the very first punk bands to emerge? Well, obviously not counting the Damned in the English scene, but as far as American...
from the California scene, yeah, definitely. They're one of the very early bands that broke out.
That was with Darby Crash, right?
Right. And then following the suicide of Darby Crash and then the subsequent breakup of The Germs, guitarist Pat Smear, who would ultimately find major fame playing in both Nirvana and the Foo Fighters.
Guy lived a charmed life.
He did.
I mean, right place, right time.
Yeah, multiple times, too.
History, as far as The Germs is considered, you know?
Right. Pat formed the band Vagina Dentata.
Easy for you to say.
And this band consisted of Darby Crash's girlfriend, Michelle Bell, on vocals, bassist Tim Ferriss, and drummer Gary Jacoby. But following the breakup of Vagina Dentata in 1985...
Easy for you to say.
Ferriss and Jacoby recruited a guitarist named Robert Haas, and they formed Celebrity Skin. Now, supposedly, their first gig was a backyard performance that was done for some graduating Caltech students, and it was characterized by multiple costume changes, multiple drum solos to flesh out their 15-minute set.
Multiple drum solos?
Yeah.
Multiple drum solos.
Like you need more than one.
I'm a drummer, and even that's too many for me.
Yeah, it's, a 15-minute set with multiple costume changes is multiple drum solos. So does that mean about roughly, with my musician math, 7 minutes of music played?
7 minutes of stage time. It seemed to be quite the thing.
I would imagine that was one chaotic performance.
To truly understand Celebrity Skin, I guess you have to understand the world that they were a part of. You remember the LA music scene in the late 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy mix of glam metal bands like, I don't know, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses. And then you had the tail end of the hardcore punk movement and, well, also the early rumblings of grunge. Tim Ferriss, bass player, was noted in an interview while promoting their first and only album. He said, well, we're definitely not a glam band. We hate that shit on the Sunset Strip, black stretch jeans and all the fucking tattoos and the bullshit. Don't get me wrong, but if you were here in LA, you'd know what I'm talking about. But Celebrity Skin didn't neatly fit into any of these genres. They were more like a glam punk satire, taking the excess of glam and the sneer of punk and dumping it all in like a paint shaker or a blender. I don't know, years later, the band Jellyfish, the independent darlings around 93, pretty much the same look that Celebrity Skin had with the Cat in the Hat, Dr. Zeus hats and the turtlenecks and the fringe vests and the,
super wide bell bottoms.
Yeah, but that was Celebrity Skin in a nutshell. And each member of the band had their own persona, one more wild than the next. I still can't picture Don Bowles drumming an entire set with a giant marching hat on his head that belongs in a collegiate marching band. But I digress. Their lyrics were also sharp. They were often poking fun at celebrity culture, obviously, the name Celebrity Skin, and the LA lifestyle. It's kind of like they were in on a joke that everybody else was just too cool to laugh at. And I guess due to their raucous prop and costume-filled live shows, they were eventually banned from every club in Hollywood. Club owners didn't want to put up with that bullshit, but the band was trying to give the fans what they wanted to see, which was innovative live, theatrical slant to some of the music that they were playing. So band had enough of LA and decided, hey, where can we go? And who might appreciate what we're doing, So the band says, well, we can just head up north and go to San Francisco. And didn't take them long before they were banned from clubs up there. Again, due to the outrageous nature of their stage shows. I mean, that's production value right there.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not shoegazer, I'm just going to stand in one spot and stare down at the stage the whole show. So I guess that live show must have created pure havoc for the band to be banned from so many establishments. I mean, if you think of the Sunset Strip back in the day, at one point you had Wasp throwing raw meat at the audience and Motley Crue's Nikki Sixx setting himself on fire, but those bands didn't get banned. How over the top could Celebrity Skin have been to get banned? Remember when Poison was hitting the local stage before they got signed and everything, but they would cover the stage in glitter and silly string. Hands and cans. The club owners must have just been like, what the fuck,
Yeah, these guys, thank God they bring in some money because fuck them otherwise.
Let's talk about some of these infamous live shows. Celebrity Skin's performances were legendary for their theatrics. We're talking, costumes, multiple costume changes, glitter bombs, over-the-top stage antics. Everywhere they went, they created a carnival-like atmosphere that made every show unforgettable,
Right.
If you combine that, Andy, with loud guitars, the over-the-top costumes, the wild antics, they were wearing feather boas and glitter and platform boots, while shredding punk riffs on their guitars.
Full-on glam look, but punk attitude.
Yeah, I don't know. Don Bowles once described their style as drag punk, which I guess is a perfect description. It was campy, it was bold, it was unafraid to challenge the norms, even with within the confines of the punk community. So I guess, the story is at one show, legendary LA Weekly newspaper music reviewer and legendary drummer Don Bowles, formerly of the bands The Germs, like we discussed, and 45 Grave. Well, he was also a music reviewer, and he gave Celebrity Skin's live performance a favorable review, and the band was so so flattered that the following week the band asked Bulls if he wanted to join the band, and that was cemented his spot as becoming the band's permanent drummer, which is kind of a little wild story.
You know, there's a famous story about one of their gigs at this tiny little club in LA where the band brought out a piñata that they had filled with glitter and fake money. So at some point during the show, when this piñata breaks open, crowd goes wild, thinking they're getting some free money, only to find out it's some sort of glittery prank at their expense. But, it kind of sums up this band. They were chaotic, clever, but always had that tongue planted firmly in cheek.
Yeah, they did. We'd like to play just a little bit of the Celebrity Skin's song "Hello" off of their album "Good Clean Fun." I love everything about this song. I love the way it goes. I love the vocal harmonies are just top notch. These guys can sing. They're all stellar musicians. I love the way where this song goes. It's one of my favorites. Here's some of the song "Hello" from Celebrity Skin's "Good Clean Fun."
The band always had a bit of a shifting lineup. Celebrity Skin reportedly reached a career high of 27 drummers, Gary. 27.
Including someone supposedly named Cujo.
Cujo.
Stop slobbering on the drums, kid. Keep up.
Yeah, and you thought Spinal Tap had a lot of drummers.
27.
Damn. But
next.
Yeah. Notable members included Gary Jacoby on vocals, Jason Shapiro on guitar, Don Bowles on the drums, Kim Pilkington on guitar, bassist Tim Ferriss, and the lineup even once included former Wall of Voodoo bassist Bruce Moreland.
I'm living on a Mexican
Radio. Whoa. If Don Bowles' name does sound familiar, that's because he was part of that legendary punk band we mentioned earlier, The Germs. His connection really helped add a layer of credibility to this band's punk roots, but those punk roots were covered in glitter and theatrics. And somewhat interesting side note, drummer Don Bowles actually cut his teeth here in Phoenix in several local punk bands before he moved to California and joined the Germs.
Yes, he did. He was a local.
And Bowles also took his stage name from a famous mafia car bomb murder here in Phoenix. There was a journalist named Don Bowles that was killed for his investigative duties into a story about the mafia here.
Yeah, but they kind of only half blew him up. They wired a car bomb. It was major news story back in the, I don't know, mid to late 70s. I don't know. Anyways, they put a bomb under his car and only blew up half of the car. He died of his injuries eventually, but they kind of botched the job. But it was big news. And Don Bowles, investigative reporter, car bombed, mafia. Good night now, Jeannie.
So let's talk about the band's music.
Shall we?
Celebrity Skin sound was an infectious mix of gritty punk rock and melodic glam rock. Their 1991 album titled Good Clean Fun. This is really like truly a hidden gem.
Yeah.
I mean, this album has everything. It's got catchy hooks, snarling vocals, and lyrics that are both satirical, but also at times strangely heartfelt. That's kind of the contrast that this band was really great at, making you dance while also making you think. And then there's their cover of ABBA's 70s hit song, SOS. They turned that song into a total rock anthem with some killer guitar work.
Yeah, that was actually recorded for the record label SST for a compilation album put together by Dave Markey called The Melting Pot. It was a compilation LP featuring some of the hottest underground bands doing classic rock and pop covers. So here's a snippet of that. This is Celebrity Skin's take on the Swedish band ABBA's song SOS. Here we go.
Whatever happened to
Celebrity Skin's musical style was a combination of glam rock and punk rock. We've kind of established that, kind of parroting ourselves here. But the songs were also made up of pop hooks and strong melodies played with a rough, loud, aggressive edge. So kind of a complete package here. They had tracks like Mondo Freudo and Evicted showcase their knack for combining catchy riffs with razor-sharp wit. Critics appreciated their humor and inventiveness, but mainstream success kind of eluded them. Why is that? Well, part of it might have been timing. They were too glam for grunge and too punk for mainstream rock radio, but let's face it, they were a fringe band playing their own version of glam punk, and the music was not really radio-friendly, at least not the kind of radio-friendly the world is used to, so...
No, not at all. From the album Good Clean Fun, here is Celebrity Skin performing the song Evicted. This is another example of how diverse their sound really is.
In early 1990, Celebrity Skin recorded a 4-song self-titled EP, which was released in April of 1990. And throughout that year, 1990, the band toured as the opening act for the band Psychic TV. And then the following year, in early 91, the band recorded their first full-length. I think that was for Triple X label.
Triple X Records.
Again, Andy has mentioned this. The album was titled Good Clean Fun. And that album was recorded in Hollywood, and that album was released in April 1991. And what makes that album stand out a little bit in notoriety is that it was produced by longtime punk producer Giza X, who is known for producing albums by, again, The Germs, The Weirdos, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys. There's a who list of all-star punk bands that this guy has been associated with. Anyways, Good Clean Fun showcased the band's move into a poppy direction, but it didn't didn't sell very well. I still love this album all the way through. It is crammed from top to, people would use the word, I guess, to describe this if you listen to it all the way through and you couldn't pigeonhole it. I guess you could define it as quirky, maybe quirky.
Quirk rock.
I don't know. Their music evolved over their career. Earlier songs like Long Black Yak and Rat Fink had a rougher, more punk quality, while later songs like Evicted featured more of their pop side with lush harmonies and melodic guitars. And their recorded sound was more polished than their live sound and was often augmented by keyboards and sound effects. And here's an example of one of those quirky songs that we're talking about. We're going to let this roll until at least the chorus or whatever, it goes in a different direction here and there. But
slightly
again,
different.
We like this song a lot. And here's the song Poisiana off of the Good Clean Fun album.
Despite this band's undeniable talent and vibrant energy, Celebrity Skin's time in the spotlight was all too fleeting.
They only lasted for one EP and one full-length album, formed in 88 and done by 91.
Yeah, that's a very short time. And the band did cultivate a loyal local following. I mean, lots of sold-out shows locally on the Strip and around the area. But, mainstream success always remained elusive to them. But, I don't know, their eccentricity may have been ahead of its time, or perhaps a little too niche to fit in the prevailing trends of the early 1990s alternative scene.
Those LA club goner warrant people would get the subtleties that Celebrity Skin was offering up.
Yeah, a little over their head, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Plus,
sing about chicks, dude, chicks.
Where's the songs about fucking? But the music industry was in a weird place back then. I mean, think about it. Grunge taking over. Bands like Nirvana are all the rage.
There's where we get into the shoegaze.
Celebrity Skin's glittery irreverence didn't quite fit that mold. I mean, their glam rock aesthetic infused with 70s inspired melodies, feel-good lyrics. That's a stark contrast to the grunge movement dominating the era. I mean, while grunge favored stripped-down attire and, jeans, flannel, Doc Martens, and then the heavier, often dissonant music and angst-filled lyrics.
You know how they say how that whole flannel thing got started? Seattle's fucking cold.
There you go.
All these bands in the rain and always cold wore flannel to stay warm. Oh, it's a fashion trend. Fuck you. I'm staying warm.
Yeah, it's difficult to stay warm in spandex and gold lame.
Let's rip some shirts and jeans and put them on Macy's for hundreds of dollars, and the crowd will buy it and eat it up.
Celebrity Skin, they celebrated theatricality and fun. And unfortunately, that glam-influenced look and that sound led to them being mistakenly compared to typical 80s glam bands like Poison and Warrant. Despite their music really having nothing to do with those other bands, they still got those comparisons.
Got lumped in.
Yeah. Which was
like the band Enough's Enough got lumped into the hair metal when they were more power pop, but that's a different story for a different day.
Yeah, there's probably a very long list of bands that got lost in that little chaotic changeover there.
Yeah, again, what did we say in a previous episode? All you needed was some black hair dye, number one, and some spandex, and you were signed to Elektra.
Yep. If you just showed up at the office, you got the deal.
There you go.
Celebrity Skin's struggles and their unique journey are vividly chronicled on the website Sleaze Grinder, which is a source that we've quoted on this show in the past.
Yeah, we have. This guy has a poetic spin on things, so bear with me. Sleaze Grinder says, the mullets of the flyover states were manifestly unprepared to cope with the celebrity skins. These poor saps automatically all had to buy every record they saw as long as the dudes on the cover were rank-looking long hairs with nose rings, and they all bought the EP of Celebrity Skin only to feel infuriated, ashamed, and ripped off by how unmacho Celebrity Skin was. And their Giza X-produced full-length on Triple X Records confused the Heartland's bleached denim wearers even more. These were the days when Jane's Addiction was still elicited violent reaction from the farm towns, and Celebrity Skin's waggish and whimsical art trash was just, well, beyond their Def Leppard and Bon Jovi Ween sheltered program milk-fed frames of reference. The celebrities' still unforgivable androgyny and bizarre sense of humor was even lost on many of my own stonewashed bros from the way out who just never really appreciated the whole wacky, zany, West Coast, silly, joke rock vibe a la the Dickies. A lot of people didn't really need their rock to be funny, especially not rural metal church enthusiasts.
No, they wanted jock rock, not joke rock.
It was over their head.
Definitely. Like a lot of the bands caught between the changing musical trends, after A Good Clean Fun was released, Celebrity Skin eventually dissolved in the mid-90s.
I guess the rumor was they were on the eve of going to their European tour, and dissatisfaction between the band members and the band broke up on the eve of their European tour.
On the eve. Kind of like Joy Division was getting ready to come to America, and the day before their singer kills himself. Following the breakup of Celebrity Skin, the various members moved on to other musical-related pursuits. Guitarist Jason Shapiro formed the band Three-Way, because he couldn't have a three-way, and also ended up playing for the band Red Cross. Legends for sure.
Future episodes, stay tuned.
Bassist Tim Ferriss formed the band Big Baby, and then later he briefly joined the Cramps. Lead singer Gary Jacoby released a second CD as a member of Death Fault with former Germ/Nirvana/Foo Fighter member Pat Smear.
Again, this guy is everywhere.
Fucking everywhere. This guy like fucking golden luck.
What's his celebrity net worth?
And Gary went on to release a solo album also under the name of Gary's Celebrity. It was titled Diary of a Monster, and it contained several former Celebrity Skin songs. Drummer Don Bowles, he becomes a disc jockey for the LA radio station KDLD. In the morning, where he had a very long-running show called The All-Night Truck Drivers Show.
Well, there goes your morning show theory. Well, I don't know. Andy, what do you think Celebrity Skin's legacy is? I mean, the legacy of Celebrity Skin lives on as a cult favorite, with fans rediscovering their music and, I guess, appreciating their, unique contribution to the LA music scene. I know, I hate to say this is a running gag in this podcast, but I still have both of those cassettes. The Celebrity Skin EP cassette and the Good Clean Fun cassette. And I still play that Good Clean Fun all the time, obviously on a streaming platform now, but this great band. What do you think their legacy is, Andy?
I think they represent the real freedom of punk. You know, they had this idea that it doesn't have to be one thing. Punk can be messy, it can be sparkly, and it can definitely be weird.
Definitely.
But they were unapologetically themselves, and that really makes them special. But I don't know, I think you can still see their influence today because you see echoes of their style in some modern bands that are out there, bands that embrace flamboyance and theatricality. I mean, think of bands like the Lemon Twigs or Starcrawler, who I love.
That Starcrawler band is something. Having seen them live, I don't know if we covered this. Did we cover this earlier in the podcast? If not, I'm going to take a break. I actually got to see the band Celebrity Skin live in Phoenix, and it was at in Phoenix way back when, down by the railroad tracks or whatever. You know how cities grow and whatever. The downtown area over time became decrepit, and most of the business had moved out, and different ways of bringing stuff in other than the railroad tracks or whatever. So downtown Phoenix was largely a wasteland, a ghost town, and somebody decided they were going to try to take one of these venues that was industrial and try to turn it into a place to show concert venues or whatever. This place was called the Silver Dollar Club, and it was in downtown Phoenix. Do you remember that place at all, Andy?
I do. I played there.
Did you really?
I did, on a very, very cold night.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So here's the deal. This place, the Silver Dollar Club, basically you stood outside in a large parking lot, and the actual stage was a 5-foot tall concrete loading dock that they unloaded trucks at during the day. That was the stage.
Yeah.
They rigged up some lights.
Yep.
And you just stood in the parking lot and stared at this loading dock that was the de facto stage. And I saw Celebrity Skin, and I'm telling you, you can't take your eyes off of them. They just, not only the energy coming off the shows, you don't know, everybody, the guitar players are both phenomenal in their own right. The style, the skits that they put on, it truly was, in every sense of the word, a show. One of the fondest shows I can remember from back in the day. And of course, we're going back because obviously Good Clean Fun was released in 91. So how long ago was that? But I actually saw the band, and they were a visual delight. Their music was stellar. They were consummate musicians. Everybody had command of their instrument. And when they all sang together, it was like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, Vienna Boys Choir. Everything worked together. Then you put the offbeat lyrics together with some of the show that you were seeing. It was just all of your senses got combined, and they should have gotten a lot further than they did.
Yeah.
And
so if anybody wants to go out there and find them, like rediscover the band, both the EP Celebrity Skin and the full album Good Clean Fun, you can find that on Spotify. So check that out.
Not that we are endorsing Spotify.
Right. Definitely not.
On your favorite streaming platform, lads.
Although you can find our podcast on Spotify.
You can. So Spotify rules.
But always remember, some of the best music out there, it's kind of lurking in the shadows, waiting for you to find it. It's not obvious. It's not the Bon Jovis that suck the life out of everything.
That's the point of this podcast, lads.
Exactly.
Some things that you may not know about or not heard of.
Yeah. And, while Celebrity Skin didn't reach the heights of fame that they poked fun at, they left a glittery mark on those who were lucky enough to witness their chaos. Like, Gary mentioned seeing them live. And music still holds up as a reminder that sometimes not taking things too seriously is the best way to make a statement.
And for those of you out there who want to acquaint yourself with the band on a visual basis, they have a couple of great videos that are out there floating around.
Oh, yeah.
They have videos for the songs SOS, the ABBA cover we discovered earlier. They have a video for the song Hello. Again, I waxed poetic about that song. I love that song. And they also have a video out there for Monster, Andy.
Yeah, that's a great song. And that's going to be our closeout song for today's show is Monster. We'll play a little bit of that.
And for anybody that wants to see a little bit of that live show that we've been going on about and what reviewers have been going on about, there's a 20-minute live show filmed in 1991 at the Splattering of the Tribes Desert Party. And that will give you an idea of what their look and their stage show was all about. And it's highly highly entertaining and worth checking out. So again, check for that 20-minute live show filmed at the Splattering of the Tribes Desert Party in 1991, Celebrity Skin.
And there's also a live show from one of the clubs in LA where it's like full costume. I mean, it's everything. I think it's about 35 minutes long. I want to say it's from 1990. Definitely go look that up. Fantastic stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. Kind of looking at this band, you might think these guys suck. They don't know how to play, all this. But no, it's the opposite. These guys were very good at they wrote great songs, very catchy. There's nothing half-assed about this band.
Clever lyrics, time changes in every song.
Odd time changes.
You can't write them off as progressive, but you can't write them off as sludge rock either,
No, definitely not.
Again, that's where the consummate musician part comes in.
And if you want an extra touch of weirdo from them, there's a video for the song Rat Fink. And it's the guy singing, he's holding a ventriloquist dummy and stands there and sings the whole time, keeping this crazy looking grin on his face while he's working the dummy. I mean, it's all the chaos reigning around him with the band performing. I mean, it's hilarious to watch.
Just the thought process alone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got this idea. What's this idea? Well, I got this dummy, right? How about if I go out and keep my mouth completely still the entire time and just sing through my teeth and make the dummy work the mouth, and he's the front man. Yeah. And okay, let's give it a try. But it's very highly entertaining.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, this band, what a spectacle. I mean, it's too bad they didn't get anywhere, but I think the world already had kind of accepted Jane's Addiction and somewhat. Maybe, I don't know, if they'd come out a little bit later, they would have been the Marilyn Manson instead of Manson becoming so famous.
A little less satanic, probably.
Yeah, definitely a little bit
less satanic.
Right. But definitely a great band. We really recommend you check this band out. They're fantastic.
Celebrity Skin. And so that's going to be pretty much wrapping it up for this episode. For those of you that have lasted this long, we appreciate your endurance, your patience, and thank you very much. Please share with your friends if you like the podcast. Let other people know about it so we can reach more people. Give us a like if you're so inclined. A review, but we're not begging. And Andy, what do you have to tell the people right before the holiday break here, December 2024? What do we got to say?
We appreciate everybody joining us regularly and listening. It's been a great year for us so far. And happy holidays, whatever you may or may not celebrate. That's up to you.
Festivus. I got a lot of problem with you listeners.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear about it.
But to close out the show, we're going to play a little bit of that song that we previously mentioned, Monster, which is, Christmas song.
There you go.
All right, everybody. But we totally appreciate you hanging out with us. And remember, keep it trashy.
Keep it trashy.
Right back into my side.
And to our fallen comrade, Mr. Mink, I think Pink Floyd said it best. Wish you were here. You're here in spirit, brother.
Godspeed, Mink, wherever you may be.
You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the dirty world of rock and roll. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast for all the latest updates, news, and more.
Got questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes? Reach out to us at rnrguttermail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So join us again next time for another wild ride through the raw and gritty side of rock and roll. So until then, keep it trashy.